Hi, so we're standing outside the guinea pen slash coop, and I'm ready to let the birds out on pasture today, finally. I've been waiting for the growth to, get tall enough, and I also let them clean up the garden, kind of as a precursor to their ranging on the pasture, so they could clear this out for me, and I knew they would really well because they're really hungry to eat the greens. And like I said, I've been feeding them nettle, but I can pick a whole pile and they have it ate within hours. So anyway, I could let them back in here today and they'd clean the rest of this up. You'd probably just see brown dirt mostly. But I don't want them to chew it all the way down because we're going to get another cycle out of this for them to eat, and while we're waiting for the Jerusalem artichoke to grow tall. So I'm also going to plant some comfrey roots in here. Hopefully, I think they'd call it the Russian comfrey that spreads and hopefully is very invasive, because I would just love to see this other half covered in comfrey, but we'll see. But anyway, so I've got this closed off already, and I'm going to come out here later today to plant those comfrey roots. But they pretty much picked it apart. They eat the burdock. I mean, there's some burdock left here, but they pretty much got all the rest. There's a few more stalks, and like I said, they would clean that up today if I let them in here. I did note that they kind of picked at all the leaves on the ragweed, but they weren't real enthused about eating it. You can still see a lot of it, the stems, and still a lot of the leaf in here. So they did chew it up pretty good, but so I could tell they liked it, but wasn't their favorite. So I'm gonna make note of that. Now the ragweed in their pasture, we'll see, is much taller than what was in there. It's more shaded in here, and I think there's parts in the pasture get more sun, and therefore the plants are bigger. But anyway, just wanted to point out, this yard is welded wire fence. It's 1/4 acre. I do have 3 gates on here. They were put in to perhaps have a way in if I had to drive a vehicle in here, and there's one on the south side, one on the north side, and one on the west side. On the east side, excuse me, I did not put one because it's right there by the ditch and my private road, so really there was no way to drive in on the east side because of the road and the ditch. But so I haven't had to drive a vehicle in here, but it has come in handy expanding into a pasture area for the birds. And one of the more interesting things I tried, which I just mentioned on the group page today, is on the south side here, actually leads into my front yard of my house, and I have had this fenced off with a temporary pasture fence, and I've had them in here mowing my grass for me in my front yard. But last year I think I took it down, and I haven't put it up this year. So the pasture on the other side, I added on another 1/2 acre. So that seems to do them well. I mean, if I really feel like at the end of the season they are just totally out of greens with the garden and the pasture, the regular pasture, I can always fence this off and let them have a go at my front yard to give them a few more greens. But there are burdock and nettles kind of in the strip here in between the other 2 little pens and alongside the fence here, which I kind of keep there so in case I do want them to range, they have something to eat. But anyway, there's my front yard, and I've mowed it already. But anyway, so I'm still developing this for them. Oh, I guess I should mention the tree. I had a dead tree fall this spring. Finally, I've been worrying about it for 2 years, and it was pretty tall, so I was hoping it wouldn't hit the electric wires, but I lucked out because, again, I've had a few trees fall on my property and have been totally lucky. We'll see another one that's in the pasture that fell. But it crashed exactly through my gate here, so it did kind of demolish my gate, but it didn't hurt the structure of the fencing itself, so I was lucky that way. I will have to rebuild the gate, but I have temporary plastic fencing on there right now blocking it off. So all in all, like I said, I lucked out. It just hurt my gate, and it just fell in the yard here. It actually fell into this tree. There's the top part of the tree, so it did not reach over to the wires, the electric wires or the phone wires, whatever's running there. So it didn't really hurt. That would have been worse. And it didn't fall the other way on my house, although I didn't think it was going to fall that way. But, well, you know, I guess it's, you know, I shouldn't take chances like that. I should have had it cut down, but I guess Mother Nature took care of it for me. But anyway, I'm probably gonna, I need to get somebody here with a big chainsaw. I had a friend come over and nearby at least cut it enough so I could, you know, patch that up there at the gate. The pieces are just kind of laying here where the tree fell, and the birds like to jump on this and stuff. And like I said, I have another tree in the pasture. It's kind of like a roost for them, so I'm going to work with this and see what I can construct, and you know, roll these logs around and maybe make like a something for them to jump on, or you know, to use again as shelter of some sort. But that may not happen till next year. I'm not sure. That's a nice project, but I'm not sure I'll get to it this year. But anyway, this is their yard. Everything is chewed down. They've trampled it. It's you know, in the spring stuff does try to come up, but they just, you know, after the winter they just want greens so badly. They just, you know, nothing has a chance to grow. They just chew up everything that even sprouts. I have been adding some trees here. I want to add some more pine trees. I'm going to fill this in, you know, from that corner over here. I may make like a pine forest in here. I'm still debating. In here, oh, it looks, oh shoot, they got in here. Darn it. I got like a little wire fencing around here, but it has fallen over. In here, it looks like they chewed my barberry bushes I have in here, and like I said, they just really want greens this time of year. So I don't know if I can, okay, guess I'm gonna have to fix that. But I have some barberry bushes. They didn't get these at the end here. The berries are medicinal, and oh man, they got these others down here at the end. They just chewed them. Good grief. They need to be on pasture for sure. So I'll fix up that fencing. And they didn't kill them. I mean, they're going to have to leaf out again, but oh boy. Never ends with these birds. So this is fenced. So they have a permanent fence structure with the wire. The pasture I added on is plastic fencing, and it's held up by metal rod poles. You can just buy that at any garden center. But what I had to do was I bought 5 foot, and I you know, I put it up, but it needs to be a little taller than that, so the chickens can't get out, and the guineas, you know, with their wings clipped, it needs to be at least 5 foot. 6 foot is really good. So I think the wire, the yard around with the wire is 5 foot. So I had to cut, you know, take another section and cut it in half, and you know, string it along so it's like 5 to 6 foot in spots. So I used to put it up and take it down every year, believe it or not, and finally last year I just said, forget that, it's too much work. So I have it shored up with wooden stakes, and it's held up pretty well. I just went around yesterday. It took me a couple hours to just go around, tighten everything up. The nice thing with the plastic fencing is it's pretty flexible. It's real lightweight. It's easy to use, and it's held up through 2 winters now. Actually, this is second year up, and it's still holding up really well. And so the ducks are out. Ducks are connected into this. There's their duck house, and you can see there's the end of the metal fencing, and they've had all this area to themselves. So I've only got about 17 ducks, something like that, 17, 18 ducks. So of course they don't really hurt any of this. There isn't that many of them as far as chewing up the greens, but they're they're kind of they're nervous because I'm in here. They're runner ducks. They're funny. They get very excited pretty easily, and their pen is up on stilts. There's mesh flooring, and then I've got some plastic fencing on top with the holes in it, and the top is wire too, so the rain helps wash that through and stays clean. I used to have a pool in there, but I took that out. Actually, well, we'll talk about the duck house another day, but they also have a little wooden structure on the end, but they like to sleep in the open pen. They don't hardly use that wooden structure at all to sleep in. They like to be out in the open. So that'll make a nice, if I ever don't have ducks one day, that'll make a nice chicken pen. Another bird structure. It's got, you know, the wood structure and then the open wire part. So this is their pasture. Lots of nice greens. There's a lot of ragweed. In here there's plantain, a lot of plantain. I did have a section of Jerusalem artichokes right in there. They chewed that down, and probably I should fence that off. If I fence that off, it'll grow back up again, but they really did a number on that. Through here is a ditch that connects the main ditch from the road back to the county ditch. And it's got some water in it. It's kind of overgrown. I usually kind of keep that clip back. It's not too bad, but probably next year I'll clip back the growth from the bushes. But there's water in there right now, so I can't do it. This is a tree that fell over, and I left it just like that. I cleaned it up. I cut off all the little branches, and the peafowl and the birds like to roost on that, so I just left it as a natural feature. And it's a nice roost. It's they like to sit on it, and especially the peacocks. So I left it, and you can see it's worn down pretty well. You can see all the claw marks. They like this. They roost on that. Here's the ditch, part of the other ditch. This has more water in it because my culvert got blocked off there, but this is where the ducks swim. They come over here. This will dry up, well, depending on how hot it gets during the summer, you know, it'll dry up. But right now in the spring, it hasn't rained in a while, so when it rains, it does fill back up again. But the ducks come in here and swim, at least for a lot of the summer, maybe midway. And then this is also their pasture in here, and it's all grown up with greens. And on the other side of this, you know, directly ahead is my golden seal bed. So this is just more of their pasture, and it extends back and around the golden seal bed. I used to have it extend back to the property line, and my neighbors here really enjoy my birds a lot, and they said they miss it that I pushed my fencing back from the property line because they like to go in their yard and watch my birds at the fence line. But what I did is the reason I did that is because the little area there, I started a slippery elm grove, and there's also hawthorn trees, which I want their berries for, and had that grow up and shaded because that's the area the sun comes in on the golden seal bed, and I wanted to make like a little forest. I wanted it to fill in with trees there to not only shade the golden seal bed, but I also wanted to be able to use the slippery elm, make powder from the bark, and also use the hawthorn berries. I have a big grove. Right here is a big grove of sumac, and you can also use the berries for that, for medicinal purposes, and we'll talk about that a little later. Excuse me. So this is it. It's tall, but it's not that tall. It's probably a couple feet in here, and it'll get much taller, but now's a good time to get the birds in here. We'll come and visit in a couple weeks, and you'll be amazed. They, a lot of it gets trampled, but once they knock it down, then they can eat that too. So just to show you over here, right in there is my golden seal bed. So my intern and I did have to come in and weed, and I'll do a separate video on that. But that's all set for now. So anyway, this is their pasture. It extends around. And, excuse me. My throat's a little dry here, talking. There's a lot of motherwort. Here's a big motherwort. Looks like maybe some raspberry canes in here, which I try to keep cut down because they just get so invasive, and of course you can't get through there with that. You can't walk through. Excuse me, I'm sorry. There's some daisies in here. I also have, here's some thimbleberry I brought from the UP. I haven't gotten any berries off of it yet, but it's still growing. But I've also got some marshmallow in here, and there's some Jerusalem artichokes in here that I got from JJ years ago, the roots, and it finally sprung up. So here's the west end. So it's all kind of brushy, and there's a nice brush pile I need to burn. And then here's the other half of the ditch, although it doesn't have as much water as the other side. So anyway, here's their pasture. I'm going to turn them loose on it, and they'll be very happy today to be out here. And they got a lot more greens to eat, and probably that area over there by the ducks. And in here where it's really short, they'll probably have that all cleaned out today, all the short stuff. They'll eat all that. So anyway, I'm going to turn them loose, and we'll come back and check in a couple weeks and see how they're doing on the pasture.